Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Word for Wednesday. I hope you're doing well this holiday season. And in the midst of our holiday season, we're going through Advent, and this week's thought is about peace and regarding peace. We spoke last Sunday about peace being something that's bigger than our situation. That's something that comes from in us to be transformative. But there's also an inner world peace that does make us secure, makes us find a place of stability, a sense of home, kind of like putting on a warm sweater. That it's not just a familiarity, but it's a over time sense of experience that God has been faithful for so long, and His truth has been faithful for so long, that we find peace in that. We can count on that. See, one of the key points of truth is that it's an objective thing. It's bigger than what we are. Like gravity, you drop something, it's always going to go on the ground. It's been proven that way for thousands of years. It's an objective truth that you can count on. It's bigger than us. It's not a slave to my opinion or feeling. It's going to do it no matter what. Well, God's truth is that way. And God's truth is set in a way that I want to lay this out for you in a passage. And it's in 1 John 3:19 through 21. It says this: "This is how we know we belong to the truth, and how we set our hearts at rest in His presence. If our hearts condemn us, we know that God is greater than our hearts and knows everything. Dear friends, if our hearts do not condemn us, we have confidence before God." See, and there's an understanding of peace, that we feel like peace with God and peace in our spiritual life is something that is dependent on us and our perspective. And we have to understand that everything about a relationship with God really is not dependent on us. It doesn't work because we make it work. It works because of who God is. And we engage with it. We participate with it. It's kind of like driving your car. Your car will work without you. Someone else can turn it on. Someone else can drive it. But when you're in it, you're along for the ride. You're with the process. See, so when we're looking at our relationship with God specifically, the passage in verse 20 that says, "If our hearts condemn us, we know that God is greater than our hearts and He knows everything." So when that guilt and shame of things we've done, when the overwhelming sense of not being good enough or being able to perform enough, that has an effect that just disturbs our soul and our being. We're not at peace in that place of condemnation, in that place of guilt. We don't perform well under guilt, and I think we all agree to that. But when we come to a place, we realize that despite whatever wrong it is, and it's not like this passage is saying whatever you did wrong is now right. We're not changing rules or laws or the Ten Commandments because of me or you. What we're doing is we're being honest with the fact that God is bigger than my sin. God is bigger than me falling short. God is bigger than what I do. And if my heart condemns me, God is greater than my heart. He knows all things. He's bigger than what I've done. He's bigger than who I am. He knows all things. Not making it less right, or more right, and not making it less wrong. God just knows. So if there is a thing that condemns us, there's just something that just we feel shame over. The key is not to hide it from God, but to confess it, to find peace. It says earlier in this book, "For if we confess our sins before God, He is faithful and just to forgive." 1 John 1:9. So what we need to do is realize that the key part of peace is truth, and being in a truthful exchange with God in relationship is what makes peace happen with us. So if our hearts condemn us, we know that God is greater than our hearts. He knows all things. And we ask for forgiveness. We seek His forgiveness and restoration in relationship to make things right. And then there's this other place of peace. Dear friends, if our hearts do not condemn us, we have confidence before God. If there is no guilt before you, if you're doing the best that you know how to do, I guess is the way to say it, you can have confidence before God. Confidence that He knows everything and He will tell you if you're wrong and point it out to you. And confidence that God knows all things that you have done and is in you And if it hasn't been brought to mind, then it's a forgiven or a done deal. There's an absolution that takes place in forgiveness when we speak over our lives and say, God, forgive me for everything I've done. I don't know about you, but I live my life in such a way to know that I could make a mistake and be a meathead at any time. I could screw anything up. I mean, that's just me. So when we ask and live lives that are in a posture of humility, understanding that we are not God and God is so much bigger than us, understanding that what God is and does is much more powerful and his grace is much more expansive than we can realize, things are different. We don't live in a place of performance, we live in a place of relationship. It's a vulnerability and a humility and an openness that says, hey, God, I am with you and things are good. Even though I know things that I do are bad and hurt you, you have forgiven me, you continue to forgive me. And when I don't know the specifics and generally ask and have a posture of my life of humility and brokenness that know that you will forgive me and trust that you will bring it out if I need it, I live in peace. That peace is based on being in relationship with a God that is bigger than we are, who knows all things. And because he knows, there's a peace that when he speaks, it's truth, and what he speaks stands the test of time and is consistent. And because of that, when I betray him, hurt him, walk away from God, and I ask for forgiveness, it is complete because he says he is. He says it's complete, that forgiveness will not be cut short. There's no part forgiveness. There is as far as the east is from the west. And that forgiveness brings us a place of peace. And because of that, we don't need to perform. We don't need to act like it's all on us to be something and do something. The cross is the sign and the symbol of it's all on him. That he took on the pain and shame of sin and the consequences of eternal death so that we could be free when he came to life again and rose. So those are some thoughts for you today. I hope you have enjoyed these moments. Keep in mind, we're going to be having some great updates and stuff that we're going to be doing to our social media presence and our web presence. If you're available, come on out for our Christmas Eve service. We're doing 2 of them, 4 and 5:15. We're going to have a check-in system so you guys can weigh in online and let us know if you're coming so we don't overcrowd one service or the other. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Enjoy your holiday season and take care. Bless you.